Namaste. All glories to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Antya Lila, Chapter 14, Text 40. Ratri Haile Svarupa Rama Nande Lana Apana Manera Bhava Kahe Ukadiya. At night, Lord Chaitanya would reveal to Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy the ecstatic feelings of his mind. 41. Prapta pranasta chuta vitatma yayo vishodha jita deha geha grihita kapalika dharmako me vrindavanam sindriya sisya vrindaha. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu said, "At first my mind somehow achieved the treasure of Kṛṣṇa, but it again lost him. Therefore it gave up my body and home because of lamentation, and accepted the religious principles of a Kapalika yogi. Then my mind went to Vrindavan with its disciples, my senses." Purport. This verse is clearly metaphorical. 42. Prapta ratna harana taraguna sanariya Mahāprabhu santape vibhala raya svarupera kantadhari kahe ha hari hari darya gela haila chapala. Having lost his acquired gem, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu became overwhelmed with lamentation by remembering its attributes. Then, grasping the necks of Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar Goswami, he cried, "Alas, where is my Lord Hari? Where is Hari?" Finally, he became restless and lost all patience. 43. Suna bandhava Krishnera madhuri yara lobhe mura mana chadi loka vedha dharma yogi hana hoila bikari. My dear friends, he said, please hear of Krishna's sweetness. Because of a great desire for that sweetness, my mind has given up all social and Vedic religious principles and taken to the profession of begging, exactly like a mystic yogi. 44. Krishna lila mandala shudha shanka kundala gadiyache shuka karikara sei kundala kane pari Trishna lao talidhari asajuli kandera upara. The ring of Krishna's Rasa Lila, manufactured by Shukadev Goswami, the most auspicious craftsman, is as pure as an earring made from a conch shell. The yogi of my mind is wearing that earring upon his ear. From a gourd he has carved out the bowl of my aspirations, and he has taken the bag of my expectations on his shoulder. 45. Chinta kanta udigaya duli vibhuti malina kaya haha Krishna pralapa uttara udvegadvadasa hate lobhera julani mate bhiksha bhave kshina kalevara. The yogi of my mind wears the torn quilt of anxiety on his dirty body, which is covered with dust and ashes. His only words are, "Alas, Krishna." He wears 12 bangles of distress on his wrist and a turban of greed on his head. Because he has not eaten anything, he is very thin. 46. Vyasa Shukadi Yogi Gana Krishna Atma Niranjana Rajetandra Yatalila Gana Bhagavatari Shastra Gane Kari Yache Varnane Seitarja Pade Anukshana. The great yogi of my mind always studies the poetry and discussions of Lord Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. In Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures, great saintly yogis like Vyasadeva and Shukadev Goswami have described Lord Krishna as the Supersoul, beyond all material contamination. (47) Dasendriye Shishakari Mahabhola Namadari Sishalana Karila Gamana Moradeha Svasadana Vishaya Bhoga Mahadana Sabachari Kela Vrindavan. The mystic yogi of my mind has assumed the name Mahabhola, and made disciples of my 10 senses. Thus my mind has gone to Vrindavan, leaving aside the home of my body and the great treasure of material enjoyment. Purport. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu compares his mind to one of the mystic yogis known as Baulas, who make at least 10 disciples. 48. Vrindavane prajagana yatastavara jangama vrikshalata grihastha ashrame taragare bhikshatana phalamula patrasana eivriti kare sishasane. In Vrindavan, he goes from door to door, begging alms with all his disciples. He begs from both the moving and the inert inhabitants, the citizens, the trees, and the creepers. In this way, he lives on fruits, roots, and leaves. (49) Krishna Guna Rupa Rasa Gandha Sabda Parashaha Se Shudha Asfade Gopi Gana Ta Sabhara Grasa Seshe Ani Panchena Triya Seshe Se Bhikshaya Rakena Jivana. The gopis of Rajabhumi always taste the nectar of Krishna's attributes, his beauty, his sweetness, his aroma, the sound of his flute, and the touch of his body. My mind's 5 disciples, the senses of perception, gather the remnants of that nectar from the gopis and bring them to the yogi of my mind. The senses maintain their lives by eating those remnants. 50. Sunya kunja mandapa kone yogabhyasa Krishna jane tahan rahe lana sisya gana Krishna atma niranjana sakshat dekhite mana dayane ratri kare jagarana. There is a solitary garden where Krishna enjoys his pastimes, and in one corner of a pavilion in that garden, the yogi of my mind, along with his disciples, practices mystic yoga. Wanting to see Krishna directly, this yogi remains awake throughout the night, meditating on Krishna, who is the Supersoul, uncontaminated by the 3 modes of nature. 51. Mana Krishna viyogi duke mana haila yogi se viyoge dasa dasa haya se dasaya vyakulahana mana gela palana sunya mora sarira alaya. When my mind lost the association of Krishna and could no longer see him, he became depressed and took up mystic yoga. In the void of separation from Krishna, he experienced 10 transcendental transformations. Agitated by these transformations, my mind fled, leaving my body, his place of residence empty. Thus I am completely in trance. Purport. In this verse, the outward activities of the Kapalika mendicants have been described, but not their actual life. The Kapalika mendicants are tantric materialists who carry skulls in their hands. They are not Vaishnavas and have nothing to do with spiritual life. Therefore, they are untouchable. Only an outward comparison has been made between the mind and their activities, but their behavior should never be imitated. 52. Krishnera viyoge gopira dasa dasahaya sei dasa dasahaya prabhura udaya. When the gopis felt separation from Krishna, they experienced 10 kinds of bodily transformations. These same symptoms appeared in the body of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. 53. Chintatra jagar odvegao tanavam malin angata pralapo vyadhir unmado moho mrityur dasa dasa. The 10 bodily transformations resulting from separation from Krishna are anxiety, wakefulness, mental agitation, thinness, uncleanliness, talking like a madman, disease, madness, illusion, and death. Purport. This verse is part of a description of Srimati Radharani's different traits from Ujjvala Nilamani, Vipralamba Prakarana 153, by Srila Rupa Goswami. In this book, he elaborately explains the 10 symptoms as follows. Chinta, anxiety, as stated in the Hamsadutta 2. Yadha yato gopi hridhaya madhano nanda sadanan mukundo gantinyastanyam anurundam madhupurim tada manchik chintas sariti gana gurna parichayar agadhayam badhamaya payasi radha virani. At Akrura's request, Krishna and Balaram left the house of Nanda Maharaj for Mathura. At that time, the mind of Srimati Radharani was disrupted and she became almost mad because of extreme separation from Krishna. She experienced great mental pain and agitation, which caused her to drown in mental speculation in the river of anxiety. She thought, now I am going to die, and when I die, Krishna will surely come back to see me again. But when he hears of my death from the people of Vrindavan, he will certainly be very unhappy. Therefore I shall not die. This is the explanation of the word chinta. Jagara, wakefulness, as stated by the Padjavali 326. Yaha pashanti priyam svapne danyastaha shaki yoshita asmakam tu gate krishne gata nidrapi Varini. Thinking herself very unfortunate, Srimati Radharani addressed her very dear friend Vishaka. My dear friend, if I could see Krishna in my dreams, I would certainly be glorified for my great fortune. But what can I do? Sleep always plays mischievously with me. Indeed, it has become my enemy. Therefore, I have not slept since the departure of Krishna. Udvega, mental agitation. This word is explained in the Hamsadutta 104 as follows. Manomeha kastam jvaliti kim aham hanta karavai naparam navaram sumukhi kalayam yasya jaladehe iyam vande murdhana sapaditam upayam katayame param rishe yasmadriti kani kayapi kshani kaya. Srimati Radharani addressed Lalita. My dear, beautiful-faced Lalita, I cannot express how my heart is burning. It is a great, unfathomable ocean of anxiety. Still, I wish to offer my obeisances at your lotus feet. What shall I do? Please consider my condition and advise me how I can become peaceful. That is my desire. Tanhava, thinness, is described as follows. Udanchad Vaktratamboruha Vikritir Antaha Kulashita Sadhara Bhava Glapita Kucha Koka Yadupate Vishushanti Radhatava Virahatapad Anudinam Nidhage Kul Yeva Krashima Paripakam Pratayati. When Uddhava returned to Mathura after visiting Vrindavan, Lord Krishna inquired from him about Radharani and Vishaka. Uddhava replied as follows, Consider the condition of the gopis. Srimati Radharani especially is in a very painful condition because of separation from you. She has grown skinny and her bodily luster is almost gone. Her heart is immersed in pain, and because she has given up eating, her breasts have become black, as if diseased. Because of separation from you, all the gopis, especially Radharani, appear like dried up water holes under the scorching heat of the sun. Malina Angata, uncleanliness, is described as follows. Hima Vishara Vishirnamboja Tuyanana Shrihi Karamarud Aparajayad Bandhu Jivo Pamushiti Aghahara Sarad Arkota Pitendriya Varikshi Tavaviraha Vipati Lapitasid Vishaka. Uddhava said to Kṛṣṇa, O most auspicious Kṛṣṇa, please hear me. The tribulation caused by your absence has made Vishaka languid. Her lips tremble like trees in a strong wind. Her beautiful face is like a lotus flower that has withered under the snow, and her eyes are like lotus petals scorched by the heat of the autumn sun. Pralapa, mad talking, is explained in Lalita Madhava as follows. Kvananda Kula Chandrama Kvashiki Chandra Kalankriti Kvamandra Murali Ravaha Kvanu Surendra Nila Dutihi Kvarasa Rasa Tandavi Kvashaki Jiva Rakshoshadihir Nidhir Mama Surutama Kva Tavahanta Hadig. A woman whose husband has left home and gone to a foreign land is called Proshita Bhartrika, lamenting for Kṛṣṇa in the same way that such a woman laments for her husband. Srimati Radharani said, My dear friend, where is the glory of the family of Maharaj Nanda, who wears a half-moon ornament on his head? Where is Kṛṣṇa, whose shoe is like that of the Indranila jewel, and who plays so nicely on his flute? Where is your friend, the best of all men, so expert in dancing in the circle of the rasa dance? Where is he who revealed medicine to save me from dying of heart disease? Where is he who is the real medicine to save me from dying of heart disease? I must condemn Providence, for he has caused me so many tribulations by separating me from Kṛṣṇa. Vyadhi, disease, is also described in Lalita Madhava. Utapi puta pakato pigarala gramad api chobano dambholer api dushaha kator alamhrin magna sulyarapi tivraha pradha vishukshikani chayato puchar mamayambali marmanyadya binhati gokula pater vishlesha janmajvaraha. Being greatly afflicted by the pain of separation from Kṛṣṇa, Srimati Radharani said, My dear Lalita, kindly hear me. I cannot bear suffering the fever of separation from Kṛṣṇa, nor can I explain it to you. It is something like gold melting in an earthen box. This fever produces more distress than poison, and it is more piercing than a thunderbolt. I suffer exactly like someone almost dead from cholera. To be giving me so much pain, this fever must be very strong indeed. Unmada, madness, is explained as follows. Brahmati bhavana garbe nirnimitam hashanti pratayati tavavartam chetana chetaneshu lutati chabhuvi radha kampitangi murare vishama viraha kedo dgari vibranta chita. Uddhava said to Kṛṣṇa, My dear Kṛṣṇa, all the gopis are so afflicted by your absence that they have become almost mad. O Murari, at home, Srimati Radharani laughs unnecessarily, and like a mad woman, inquires about you from every entity without distinction, even from the stones. She rolls on the ground, unable to bear the agony of your absence. Moha, illusion, is explained as follows. Nirunte dhanyabdim harati guru chinta paribhavam vilumpatyun madam staghayati balad bashpa laharim idanim kamsare kuvalaya drisha kevalam idam vidhate sachivyam tava viraha murcha sahachari. Lalita wrote Kṛṣṇa the following letter on Srimati Radharani's behalf. My dear Kṛṣṇa, Srimati Radharani has fallen unconscious on the ground, her mind greatly agitated by her separation from you. O enemy of Kamsa, you have now become a first-class politician, and therefore you can supposedly give relief to everyone. Therefore, please consider the plight of Srimati Radharani, or very soon you will hear of her death. Maybe at that time you will lament, although now you are jubilant. Mrityu, death, is explained in the Hamsa Dutta 96. Aye rasa krida rasika mama saksham nava nava pura badha yena pranaya lahari hanta gahana sachen mukta pikshastvam asi dig imam tula shakalam yad etasya nasa nihitam idam ajapi chalati. In the following letter, Lalita chastised Kṛṣṇa for staying in Mathura. Simply by dancing in the circle of the rasa dance, you attracted Srimati Radharani's love. Why are you now so indifferent to my dear friend Radharani? She is lying nearly unconscious, thinking of your pastimes. I shall determine whether she is alive by putting a cotton swab under her nostril, and if she is still living, I shall chastise her. Thus ends our reading for today. All glories to the assembled devotees. Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki jai. All glories to Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nimala Charya Maharaj ki jai. All glories to Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai. Jai Shripad Bhakti Vigyan Muni Maharaj ki jai. Jai Shripad Bhakti Nishkam Shanta Maharaj ki jai. Jai. All glories to Giri Govardhan, Gupta Govardhan Dham ki jai. Jai Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki jai. Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Nitai Gaura Haribol.